tell you that much. There's like a whole section on going into KFC and like ordering stuff at KFC. That's
I
really
love
good.
how there doesn't seem to be a single Skype session with Abe where he doesn't manage to at some point bring up KFC.
I told you there are unofficial sponsors.
Roll a 12 to get the...
You've got to roll over
to get the chicken bucket.
So whatever you roll, that's how many pieces of chicken you get in your bucket.
Holy shit, that could be awesome.
Yeah. Could be a 20-piece bucket. Yeah.
It could be a one-piece bucket, and you're paying the same amount either way.
Yeah.
So.
True.
Oh, one-piece bucket. What a waste.
You need a bucket at that point.
You have to be real careful in battle.
Just
you only got
someone's...
one piece of chicken to
yourself.
Alright, we better get going. Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome back to another Overcast Gamer Show. You're joined by me, as per usual. My name's Abe Foster. It is the 16th of October, 2016. I'm also joined by...
Regan Harper.
Michael Langdon.
Balthazar Valentine.
Oh, Mike got in there first.
Yeah.
He's quick off the ground. Yes, Mike is here for
Balthazar
a particular reason.
So I was like, jump in.
Balthazar, do you want to elaborate why Michael Langdon is here?
He's here because he wanted to be, and we like him, and we enjoy his company. No, he's here because this will be my last podcast for a while, for a little over a month, flying off to Japan in 2 days.
Nice.
2 days.
Very good.
The
Very
countdown is real.
What's the kind of flight time like on a trip to Japan? Is it like, 7 or 8 hours?
13?
Yes.
Really?
It's a little over 10, yeah.
And that's a direct flight? Do you go straight from...
Singapore.
Oh, yeah.
Anyway.
That's a good place to stop over.
Yeah, it is.
Which airline are you with, man?
Singapore Airline. So.
Oh.
Singapore Airline is the dog's bollocks.
Yeah,
man.
they've got those little
awesome.
private TVs you can pull up from the side of the seats and shit like that. And,
It's,
And
just
virtual
like
SNES
that,
console?
yeah, exactly. I found it was just like the thing with Singapore Airlines is, whenever you get a different airline, they kind of make allowances in different areas. So, like, if you go on an Air New Zealand flight, the seats are a little bit shit, but you've got a little extra room.
Yeah.
Whereas in Singapore Airlines, you're a little bit tighter and cramped in, but the seats are a lot nicer.
Yeah.
And I don't know, I found that to be better.
I always felt that, like, this is going back a bit. I remember the last time I flew on Singapore Airlines, I was about 9. So a wee while ago now. But I do seem to recall, the seats, it was kind of like you had your own little isolated pod. You felt very much like your sitting area was your space.
Yeah.
Like you didn't feel like it was being encroached on.
It sounds like you were in like premium economy or something. Like
Might have been, I don't know.
It sounds like you were.
You had the TVs.
I rode Singapore Airlines
you
quite
pull up
recently,
the side.
and that's definitely not just cabin class. Yeah,
It was flash. I liked it. It's how flying again this time. So.
We can all be thankful it's not Jetstar, I'll tell you that much.
Oh
Because I don't know about you guys, but I've never had... I've had appalling experiences, and I've had experiences that were just completely meh. I've never had a good experience.
I've never flown with Jetstar. So
or la-dee-da.
yeah.
Not in a while. I'm flying with Air Asia at the end of the year. I'm not sure if you guys have been.
Oh, yeah. An airline for a whole continent. That's pretty sweet.
Yeah.
I've never flown AirAsia. Interesting. Although to be like, we comment on on Jetstar. At least Jetstar for us is only generally domestic. Like when I was in the UK, flying out of the UK, we we flew with Ryanair.
Yes.
Oh my gosh! You have never seen a budget airline like Ryanair. Like,
oh man, you can't argue with those prices though.
Yeah.
no, well that's true. You can't. But they're so budget that like if anything goes wrong, because we didn't realise that like you have to check in online. You can't go and check in at the airport.
Really?
And if you do, they ping you like $200 for the to queue up and like do it like any other fucking airline.
Yeah,
so
it's pretty much BYO parachute that airline.
Yeah, well, yeah, exactly. And then you get on the airplane and it's like the colours are like bright yellow and like a royal blue. But the airlines are so old and so shit that all the yellow parts are like faded and like all of the overhead lockers along the side of the planes are that like real bright gaudy yellow, like the yellow that you would have on like a McDonald's cheeseburger wrapper, like that kind of yellow, but it's sort of faded from like the years of use and it's like, well, as long as the plane's safe then that's cool, but fuck, it does not look it. But the Jetstar's not that bad.
It's not bad, but it's not good, which is really disappointing and boring a lot of the time. It's just like it's never a good experience. It's always just either it was alright or no, that was terrible.
Well, you could make the argument that, like, at the end of the day, you're there to get from point A to point B, and if they do that, then that's okay.
Yeah, absolutely. It just depends on how much they're forcing me to pay to suffer through whatever.
Yeah, well, true. And also, like, Air New Zealand is kind of nice. Like, it's a nice airline.
Air New Zealand is a really nice airline. I cringe a wee bit at the videos that they make.
Same.
But the other people overseas seem to enjoy them. It's just they shouldn't probably show them on domestic flights because all New Zealanders are just groaning.
Yeah. Get it fucking done.
But it's always someone on the plane's claim to fame. There's always someone on every flight who was in the video.
Yeah, or knows someone that was in the video.
The Men in Black one, I had to sit through that one twice. A couple of months ago, and that was horrible. But thankfully, went to Auckland a couple of weeks after that, and they changed it already. So I was like, oh, thank God.
Yeah.
They do them pretty regularly, eh? Yeah.
They're like not low budget production values on those things.
No, not at all. Like they had, there's the Air New Zealand one, and the Lord of the Rings ones were quite up there as far as
not bad at all. But I'm just gonna awkwardly segue into the next thing we're going to talk about.
Yeah, hang on. Yeah, what's this podcast about?
So, how many of you guys enjoy food?
I
enjoy food. I've got food next to me right now.
Yeah. Mike, what's your feelings on the subject?
Oh, I'm trying to quit, but
just trying to go cold turkey, pun intended.
Trying to segue into an all fluids diet.
Better than my segue. Anyway, Balthazar, what have you been doing related to food this week, apart from consuming it and excreting it?
Nice to include the second one. It is a necessary part of eating. I've been trying Bargain Box, guys, for a fortnight now. It's pretty great.
What's Bargain Box?
I'm glad you asked, Mike. Oh, it's a commercial now. Have you ever wanted to eat 5 different meals in a week for your dinner, but you don't know what to cook, you don't know what ingredients you'll need? I've got a solution for you, Mike.
I have this problem every single week.
It's called Bargain Box, and basically what they do is they send you not in the post, they deliver it to your door, and it's multiple large boxes filled with ingredients, fresh fruit and vegetable, nice thick cuts of meat, and recipes for 5 meals for the week. So it's basically your weeknight dinners. And you can specify how many people the meals are for and stuff like that, and they'll send you more or less and update your price accordingly. The one I go with is $120 a week, and it's food for 2.
That's really reasonable, eh?
Yeah.
$120.
It's pretty decent.
And it's pretty great. We're not just talking like, trash food. I can't, for starters, they send too much fruit. I'm going to say that right off the bat. We always end up with some of it going off at the end of the week. So
do you reckon that's just because you guys don't eat much fruit, or is it just a shitload
fruit
of
non-stop?
Oh, really?
Non-stop. She'll sit down and just see the bowl of fruit there, and she'll grab like a mandarin, a satsuma, and a banana.
And just smash them.
Yeah. So she eats a lot of fruit, and I'll try to eat 1 piece of fruit a day. Yeah, even though it doesn't.
one plus a day.
Yeah,
one plus a day.
One or less a day. That's the old food-wise thing, isn't it? But
and let's be honest, the banana will probably have a whole bunch of brown parts in it that you have to cut out, so it'll be like 1/8.
Yeah, true.
1/8 plus a day.
But they're interesting meals. It's pretty simple stuff. Like it'll usually be, they'll send you your box and you'll have a couple of meals that are red meat, a couple that are white meat, and then a fish meal or something like that. So you might get for example, my first Bargain Box, I'll try to remember everything that was in it. The Monday was barbecue chicken and kumara wedges. The Tuesday was something less good.
Is it shepherd's pie one?
It might have been the shepherd's pie, deconstructed shepherd's pie, which is just called like meat and puff pastry, which was mince and vegetables and kind of a puff pastry. I remember, I think Friday was lamb and mint pizza.
Ooh.
That was really good. And it was something like, it's that kind of thing where they're normal ingredients, but you don't necessarily consider putting them together in that way. That's the interesting way of eating it. Like, I would never have thought of, putting lamb and mint sauce on a pizza.
Yeah, well, see, that's the thing. That would be what it would appeal to me, because, I can make a fucking killer spag bowl, But you asked me to do absolutely anything else, and I'm done.
I'm pretty much the same.
We decided on it because our shopping was the same. Every week we get the same stuff because it's quick and easy to make and it tastes pretty good.
Yeah.
But it's like we want to try something else. But then when you get to that point, you walk through the supermarket and you're like, well, what do we get to try something else?
Yeah.
Like what else? What do we need to cook these other things? Like you can think of the primary ingredients. Like you may think, we'll do whatever we'll do. Have a steak. So you get the meat for that. And then you don't think about dressings and sides and stuff. You probably would. To be honest, this is a bad example because there's not much to steak. But you'll think of something that's maybe not something you have every week, and you'll forget something you need to have it the way you want it. Whereas if you go this way, it's all there for you. They send it out, and it's great. Something happened during the week that meant our meals this week got delayed a bit, so we're actually still going through it, and it's lamb burgers tonight, lamb always seems to be the Friday meal. I always do lamb on Friday.
It's a good Kiwi staple, the old lamb.
Yeah, big time. It's
interesting. Lamb and pizza sounds like a new twist on an old favourite.
Yeah. Are there any like super shit ones that you've got and just been like, I don't want to eat that?
Or could you say I don't eat fish, so don't see many fish.
Yeah, so you can specify. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
And they do gluten-free bargain boxes as well, but I imagine that's just like
rice
crackers.
Must be a lot of work that goes in.
Box of rice
I don't even know what gluten-free is.
I'm trying to think if there's anything. There was nothing that was like bad. There was something that was just kind of my least preferred. I think it was something that was just really basic with mince. It was like mince and wedges and sour cream, and I fucking loved it because I love sour cream. But without the sour cream, it would have been nothing.
Just scrape the rest into the bin.
I would put sour cream on anything, and it would enhance the meal for me.
Yeah.
You do get some stuff that's really basic, but for the most part, it's all interesting stuff.
Imagine if you got that and you were like, sweet, bargain box, open it up, and there's just like a loaf of like tip-top bread and like a couple
that's what I was thinking.
Beans, like,
that's what I was thinking. They could do the student version where it's just like ramen 4 nights a week, and like some mince on toast for like Saturday, like spice it up a wee bit.
Yeah.
And a voucher for $5 off a Domino's order delivered.
2 for 1 at United Video. Good night.
Oh man.
A success overall then?
I'd say, definitely. We'll probably, obviously we paused it because we're going away on Wednesday, but definitely probably going to look at starting it up again for a few more sessions when we get back into New Zealand, because it's building up a recipe book as well. They send you a folder.
Oh yeah.
The first time you order it, and each meal comes with a recipe on like an A4, nice glossy sheet of card with those holes punched down the side, so you can put it in the folder, and the folder's got the dividers for beef, lamb, fish, and a divider for favourites, which, nice. In that classic Kiwi way, it's actually just faves. So
good.
Faves.
Faves. Pop your faves in that one. Nice. That sounds awesome.
So we're probably going to do it a few more times just to build up a library of recipes, pretty much, and then probably, to be honest, for the most part, fall back on what our shopping used to be. But every now and again, it's like, we want something different. Just flick through the recipe book. Find one that we remember enjoying and grab the stuff for that as well.
Good stuff. Do you guys do cooking together, or do you take turns?
It's mostly Hannah. It's mostly I do the prep, and she does the cooking because I hate waiting around watching things brown. I do the prep. I cut the meat. I grate the vegetables and everything. I get everything ready, and then she can do the just standing in the kitchen watching it cook.
That's kind of my problem. Why I don't like cooking that much either. I just get bored. I just get so bored immediately. It's like,
And I figure it's a good division of work, because while the cooking part is the longer part, it's also the part... it is the part where everything could go horribly wrong, but in my mind, the cooking part is also the part where you don't do anything. You put it in and you watch it, and when it's ready to take out, you take it out. Kind of thing. Like, the preparation is the part that takes a while of actually doing something for a while, rather than just standing there looking at it. Like, I've done the cooking part several times.
Sounds to me like you're just trying to take more credit than what's due.
It's my life in a nutshell.
And that concludes the Overcast cooking show for another week.
Cooking and airline show.
Cooking and airline critique.
Next week, airline cooking.
What's the deal with that?
All right, let's get into what we've been playing. Balthazar,
Back to me
Balthazar
again.
has written yet another cryptic statement.
Yes,
that I have in front of me.
What I'll do is I'll actually preface this with one other game that's not included in the sentence because I can talk about it in 2 minutes because it is the thing I've been playing most recently, so I should just make a mention of it. There's been a Halloween update for Overwatch. That's the mention of it. I'm playing it a lot because there's been a Halloween update, so there's new skins, a new brawl. They made over a couple of the maps, putting Halloween decorations and thick layers of fog everywhere and stuff like that.
Cool. I've heard it's cropped up on my radar as well, and people are quite excited about it.
It's fun.
Yeah. Is it? So it's not a new map. It's just a.
No, it's a makeover of. So there's a new brawl, which is an entirely new game type. It's like a PvE. It's 4 people in a team against waves of AI zombie robots and a couple of boss waves that come out, where it's like heroes with health bars, and you've got to it's kind of like Borderlands style, really, where they've got like their bullet spongy a bit. And then other than that, just makeovers of all the, well, not all the maps, but some of the existing maps. Yeah.
Speaking of Overwatch, did you see the thing that came out this week about the guy who really dug the character Winston, the big ape, the gorilla, and he set up a control scheme involving conducting electric currents through bananas, and he's been playing Overwatch using a whole bunch of bananas.
What? Really?
Oh yeah. You can watch a video and he's just touching all these different bananas and he's like getting kill streaks on Overwatch.
That sounds amazing. I'll definitely check that out.
It's pretty cool.
We'll have to find that and put a link in the description or something.
Yeah. I'll do that.
Wow, that's incredible.
It's quite cool. It's like the person who beat Dark Souls using Rock Band.
Oh yeah, using the drums and the guitars. Yeah. Crazy. So other than that, that's just kind of been my weekend that's just been. So that cryptic sentence is kind of the 4 games I was dabbling in over the fortnight.
Okay, so I'll read out the sentence.
Yeah.
So the sentence that I have in front of me here says, Balthazar dismembers the grind while crossing off the days to Japan and grabbing balls. Now, I'm not sure if this is just some sort of crass bedroom etiquette.
Are we talking about multiple games?
So I've been playing 4 games.
Oh,
and
Jesus.
There is one hint for each game.
So there'll be dismembers, grind.
It's Animal Crossing is the only thing I can think of for cross.
So you got cross is, I had to bold italic it because the word is crossing. But it's like cross is the word that's a hint. And I'll tell you what, that's the hardest one because that's referring to the game as how it's meant to be, the title's meant to be pronounced, rather than how most people would look at it and pronounce it.
Jesus.
Wow, that's...
So let's start with, go ahead. You guys throw out your guesses for what's there.
I think Destiny is one of them, with the grind.
I'm afraid you're wrong, Mike.
Final Fantasy?
Yeah, so Regan's got 1. The old... I got props this time.
Oh, wow.
So you guys can basically...
great for conducive for an audio podcast.
Yeah. Final Fantasy 14, boom. Just pretty much the same old, doing the grind, doing the raids. Though, big news.
Yeah.
Big news, new expansion, Stormblood announced yesterday.
Oh, wow.
Looks very Eastern themed and mountain temples and shit.
Is that because I saw the trailer for that and it didn't give a whole lot away about like story or anything? Is that usually what they're like? They're just like, here are 2 people fighting on a mountain.
It's a teaser, not a trailer kind of thing. It's like, so the way and I think it's the way I described it to you as well when I saw it, is because a lot of people are up in arms saying, how do people say this trailer looks good? There's no gameplay. So how do you know? And my argument to that is, it's Final Fantasy 14. It's the second expansion. You know how it plays. You don't need to see gameplay. We know exactly how it's going to play. What I look at the trailer for is I want to see the aesthetic of the new area, like the themes and the general, visual impact of the new areas. And that teaser gave that to me. I looked at it and I was like, cool, so this is the general theme they're going for with the new expansion. And I dig it. I think it looks like it's going to be a fun area to explore. So.
Okay. Cool, we got Final Fantasy 14.
So we got Grind.
What was the rest of it?
It says, Balthazar dismembers the grind while crossing, I've got an idea for that one, off the days to Japan and grabbing balls. Cross, isn't Street Fighter Cross Tekken, is it?
It's not, no.
Damn.
You're on the right track, though. It is something where the case, it's an X. And so you might look at it and read it as being an X, but it's actually meant to be pronounced cross.
Right, yeah, because that is the correct X on the PlayStation controller is actually cross.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because X on the Xbox that's X. Like Xbox owns that. That's the ins. So
interesting. Okay.
Yeah.
Blow my mind there.
Well, apparently it's because I read a thing and it was like X is meant to be like sort of like cross is meant to be like the cancel button.
Yeah,
Circle
it
is meant to be the confirm button.
Exactly. Yes.
They were swapped
Hannah
around.
has a Japanese Vita, and when you're obviously the games or in New Zealand play in the normal control scheme, but actually navigating the menu, selecting things, you have to press circle and X and go back.
Same with Metal Gear Solid.
Yeah, the original
Metal Gear
Gear.
Solids. Yeah.
The old X is a confusing one because it's always in a different spot.
So I guess try, if you're having trouble with cross, the other keyword, did you pick out what the 4 keywords were? I'm pretty sure you guys got them all. So it's just thinking of other things.
Balls.
Is that like Dragon Ball? Xenoverse, whatever it is.
So it's not Xenoverse, but I'm going to give it to you because you guys wouldn't guess what the actual game is. So this is a Wii game, Dragon Ball: Revenge of King Piccolo.
Oh,
that's an old school one.
Never even heard
It's
that one.
fucking fantastic. It's a side-scrolling beat-em-up where you play as Kid Goku, and it's fun. It's fun as balls.
The tagline on the case here is, "There was a time when Goku had a great life." That's it.
That's it.
Doesn't anymore.
Yeah.
Wow. Ever since he married Chi-Chi, everything went down.
It's all turned to shite.
So it's been good fun. I haven't made a lot of progress yet, but it's just funny playing a Wii game.
Yeah.
You know, like it's a side-scrolling game. So basically, you hold the Wiimote sideways. You use the directional pads and A and B. It's one of those old 2-button and directional pad games, old school. And yeah, it's good fun. It's just like a classic arcade style side-scrolling beat 'em up.
Cool. So we've got 2 left. We've got Dismembering
Yep.
and...
I
know Dismembers. Dead Space, isn't it?
Dead Space, yes.
So Abe's got Dead Space. We were talking about it earlier on this week or last week. And yeah, talking about it, I just really felt like playing it again. So I actually picked it up on Origin for $10.
Oh, nice.
Because I wanted to see how it did perform on PC, being an older game. And yeah, no, performs flawlessly, as one would expect. Still a great game. Because when did that come out? 2006? Something?
That is a good question. Yeah, that's one I never got to play Dead Space, and I'm really gutted now that I... In 2008, apparently, Dead Space.
Okay, so yeah,
I think
years
it
ago.
might be one of those games that's just been sitting in my Steam library for years. So
yeah, it's a good game. You should play it. It's one of those things, like now, a lot of stuff it did at the time that was super original, other games have done now. But when it came out, it did so much stuff new, that was completely original.
I remember like the sort of the interface, like the menus and stuff, were just sort of
projected.
Yeah, it was like a hologram projected by your suit.
Yeah, the health bar down your spine always.
Yeah, basically the zero. Really cool. There was no HUD in this game. It was just you walking through the world, and all the information you needed was displayed on your suit or on your gun. Like your ammo counter was on your gun. Your health bar was on the back of your suit, going up your spine, and it drained and changed colour as it ran out. And yeah, as Abe Mike said, when you went into menus, it was a hologram that projected out the front of your suit. So it was actually your character browsing through his suit inventory kind of thing.
Very cool. Yeah. Okay.
It was. It's a shame that such creativity and such interesting devs went on to make such classics as Battlefield Hardline.
Yeah.
It's really. I'm going to talk about this a little bit later on when I talk about what I've been playing, but it's a real shame, like, with those kind of decisions. Anyway. Sorry, I'm getting...
We'll get to that.
There's one more. I'll give you each one more guess for the cross, and then I'll have to play. Because I don't think you'll get it, because like I said, it's a bit of a cheap one, because you would refer to it... You would call it an X, not a cross. I just couldn't fit an X into a sentence.
I'm just trying to think of games that have X in the title. I can only think XCOM, but that's not going to be called CrossCom.
Yeah, that's correct. I'm pretty sure that is XCOM.
Jack X, which was...
You've been playing Jack X.
I have not been playing Jack X.
Is it Exoblade?
Exoblade.
You mean Xenoblade? Exo? I don't know.
We're all a bit lost there with X.
It's clearly not
I've
Exoblade.
not been playing Exoblade.
Excellent. Mega Man X.
No.
Dead air.
Come on, mate. Come on. Lay it on us.
If only you had committed to Xenoblade.
Oh, I said it though.
Xenoblade Chronicles Cross. I never finished it, so I jumped back into it and immediately fell in love again, like straight away. Honestly, I'll admit, part of it is because my what do they call it? The gamepad with the screen on it was dead, so I had to play without that, which is the fast travel system. So if you bring up the map on that screen and then teleport from that screen. So because it was dead, I had to just run through the world like a, pleb. Couldn't teleport. So I hopped in my mech and took off into the sky and flew towards my objective and was just immediately like, fuck, this game is so cool. Yeah. Just flying over these landscapes with these giant, like, floating, detached mountainscapes and things in the sky and weaving between enemies that are massive and much stronger than me as they one-shot my party members that are lagging behind me a little bit. Like,
I was going to say, the first part of that description sounded a lot like No Man's Sky.
Yeah,
flying detached mountainscapes.
Yeah, but yeah, no, loving it again. I stand by everything I said about it last year, and it was definitely my RPG of the year last year by far, and I would vote it again this year if I could, but I can't. So,
no.
So what does the cross refer to? Because it's usually mixed with another game, right, when that happens?
Yeah, so it's because they're Japanese, and they do what they want.
Yeah, I just thought of another game with X in it. Resident Evil Code Veronica X.
Oh, yeah, that's a good one.
I still don't know what the X was, but...
I did try the Resident Evil HD, like the PS4 free PS Plus game.
Oh, yeah? Yeah.
Played it for about an hour, and then got incredibly depressed that they took all the good voice lines out of it. They redid them all. So such classics as Blood, I hope it's not Chris's blood, they changed that line to... just like, oh, it's blood. I hope Chris is okay. Like voiced normally. And also they removed the line, you were almost a Jill sandwich. And just swapped that one to, if I'd been any later, you'd be flat as a sandwich. And I'm like, no, you removed all the like really shittily translated lines. And so it was after the sandwich line that I just stopped and never went back to it. Because I was like, no, they got rid of the classic Resident Evil voice line.
They should have the option to like keep the original...
Yeah. So I quit because I realised it wasn't an HD upgrade, for Resident Evil. They redid the game, and I didn't like that. I just wanted to play the shitty original one.
Yeah. I like the way it looked, but I still feel like it hasn't aged very well. Like, just with the mechanics and stuff. I mean, you can use the DualShock to run whichever direction you want, anyway, the analog stick, instead of, using the D-pad to run forward and then slowly turn left or right. And,
No, but,
interesting.
But when I might give it another. Becomes left and right to rotate.
I might give it another go, but I don't see myself getting through the whole thing.
Brilliant.
Yeah, I've been thinking about picking it up because this is the first time PlayStation Plus has had actual good games in the last probably since I've had it. Decent games, Transformers Devastation and Resident Evil, actually.
Yeah, Devastation's a great one. So have you played that at all?
No, not
yet.
Yet.
Tried it yet? No. Good one. Platinum Games, so quality.
Anyway, I think we'll move on to you, Regan.
Yeah, has anyone... I didn't even bother coming up with a cryptic line for mine.
No, it's pretty blatant this one.
I mean, it's pretty clear what I've been playing. Mafia 3. Have any of you guys tried it yet? Or
just been watching your Let's Plays, Overcastgamer.com.
Yeah. Abe, did you pick up Regan's little mistake in that video?
In which part 1 or part 2?
Part 2.
No, I didn't actually.
When he became incredibly racist.
Oh, come on! Now.
I don't think it was. He was calling the main character Lincoln Franklin.
Oh, nice one!
A couple of times it happens.
Bit of GTA conditioning.
I didn't even know. I came in today to do the podcast, and Mike had pointed out, and I was like, "Fuck, did that happen?" Awfully embarrassing.
They're very similar names. So.
Yeah, Franklin, Lincoln, and relatively similar characters, really.
Oh, you better watch yourself, boy. Now, Regan, what do you think of Mafia 3, man?
Yeah.
Anywho, the game itself, I mean, if you've looked at any reviews for it, you probably have a relatively good idea of what it's like. There are so many good parts about it that you think, man, they like. I guess the way I would sum it up is that they had a really good vision, and when they all sat down around a table at the beginning of it to go, oh, here's what we want this game to be like, they had a fucking solid idea of what they wanted it to be like. But then the corporates came in their suits and said it's got to be done by this date. So I feel like they just kind of had all of these roadmaps and timelines, and they only got halfway along a lot of them. So it feels like they kind of cut corners, and a lot of it's just sort of unfinished. So, for example, the things that are really good are like the first like half hour, or like if you watch the first episode of that Let's Play.
Yeah.
Awesome. Like the introduction of the game is amazing, and the way that they tell the story and the characters are all pretty cool, and the time and the place and the setting.
Yeah, the like documentary style they have interwoven into that was really, really cool. Yeah. I found that fantastic.
Yeah, absolutely. That storytelling style, the way they're kind of chopping and changing through the characters, doing it kind of retrospectively. The music's awesome. The city's awesome. That stuff is all really cool, but then it's once you get past that introduction section, you get into a really repetitive cycle of the same sort of things over and over again.
Right.
You have to go and you have to take over a particular area. You've got to take over the rackets, and then you have to assign that area to one of your kind of underbosses. And it's the same thing in each area, with slightly different kind of rationale for doing so. For example, you go into one of the areas and there's like a construction guy, and he's got like it's a front for a criminal business so they can launder money, right?
Right.
So then you go out and you find out where his men are, and to do so you've got to interrogate a few people. Then once you know where they are, you've got to go to those places and take out key targets. And then after you've taken out the key targets, you then have to go and blow up kind of the things that are like generating the money. So you take down like a construction site, for example. And then at that point, that lures that particular boss out of his cave, wherever he happens to be hiding, and then you can go and kill him. So, and then you go to the next area, and it might not be like a construction racket, it might be like the dock workers union or something like that. And so you do the same process of like going and do it, you go find these people, and then they tell you where these things are, you blow those things up, and then that lures the boss out. But they just kind of justify it in slightly different ways. So, it's just a little bit repetitive, and kind of like they just went, okay, we've built this world, we need to fill it with content. What's the quickest and easiest way to do that? Let's just do this, and it's going to get it done. Yeah, and then you're interspersed with some cool missions. So usually the last ones in those kind of process where you have to go in and get that boss are really sweet, like they're good fun. Yeah. But even now, them are still they follow a blueprint where you find out where that person is, you go in and you catch them, and they're a little bit more fun, and then you have to escape that area, and there's cool story bits in there that are quite gritty and really fun, but it's just that repetition that just, it just gets a bit boring.
Right.
Which is, and it's a real shame, because you can see that, like, if they had been given maybe like an extra 6 months or a year or something to like really delve into each of those areas and make them unique, it could have been amazing.
Yeah, I did see that, like, just when you're running around and stuff, the world building looks masterful, really, like close or coming up on Grand Theft Auto in ways.
It is and it isn't. So the actual city itself is beautiful, and the world is great, but then there's little bits and pieces that kind of break things down, like in GTA, if you're driving at a person, you honk your horn, they go, oh shit, and they get out of your way.
Yeah.
You can be right behind someone in Mafia 3 and fucking beep, 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 and they take no notice. So things like that, like where the people just don't quite seem to be as aware of their surroundings. The AI is just so stupid. Those little bits and pieces where if they were just given time, given free rein to actually build the game that I'm sure that they wanted to build, it could have been, So it's good, and then it's really good, and then there's also all these things that they just didn't quite nail that just kind of totally let it down. And that leads me into thinking, like, is it? It's that kind of trade-off between, like, the people in the suits wanting them to get it out quickly so that they can make some money off this IP that they've got, and the developers who really want to make a good game and are doing their best to get there within those time constraints. And
yeah. That's always the way, man. So obviously Take-Two owns 2K, and 2K are the publishers of Mafia. Hangar 13 were the developers, right?
Yes, yeah, correct.
Yeah. So Hangar 13, as far as I know, haven't done a huge amount of stuff. This isn't the same devs as Mafia 1 and 2.
Yeah, I think Hangar 13 were a 2K like in-house squad that they built.
Right.
So they and Mafia 3, as far as I know, was their first big project. So they created this development house under that banner, and they were given Mafia 3 and said go for gold.
Right.
But yeah, it's just interesting when you think about when you put them up against someone like CD Projekt Red or Rockstar, where they just go, you know what, we don't at the end of the day, we're going to make X amount of money off this game, regardless of when we put it out. We might as well just wait until it's done.
Yeah. They don't have to reach a certain financial quarter or anything.
Yeah, exactly. But I mean, I don't know anything about, let's be fair, I don't know too much about the game industry and what drives those kind of decisions, but that would be my guess.
That's a real shame, man. There's one more thing I want to ask you about Mafia 3 before we move on from it, because I don't imagine there'll be a huge amount to say about it in the coming weeks, unless they release like some ginormous patch or something.
That just that'd be amazing, but I can't see that happening. Yeah.
But I just wanted to ask you about, because this is an element that I've never really seen in games before, maybe just because we haven't really had any that touch on the subject kind of thing. But the idea that you are a black guy. And New Bordeaux in a very, interesting time in American history kind of thing. Like it's like what is it, mid 1960s, 1970s?
Civil rights movement.
Civil rights movement, exactly, yeah. So the idea that you are playing like a black dude running around the Bible Belt, essentially. And the just inherent like racism that comes from that. Like I've heard there's areas in the game where you'll go and people just like slag you off and stuff, and like drop the N-bomb left, right, and center, and like how's that? Was that sort of?
It's quite interesting. Like it, there absolutely is. Like there'll be bars and things that you'll go into, and the owner will just come around from the till and be like, "Get out! Just get out of my establishment!" So there's absolutely things like that, and some parts of town you'll just be heading through, and you'll have people just slagging you off, and there's a heightened police presence as well. So if you see the police, then these little indicators pop up to show you that these guys have got their eyes on you, kind of thing. There's that sort of in your face stuff, and then there's other things like just on one of the radio stations, there's almost like a sort of a white supremacist guy that runs one of the radio stations, and so he does like talkback radio where he's very pro like whites and these kind of things, and so I mean I think it's quite cool that they've just been loyal to that stuff and haven't kind of sugarcoated it, and it definitely certainly gives you a sense of what it must have been like, and I guess that's all part of their world building as well, is that like they've taken actual events that happened at that time, like things that were happening in Vietnam, civil rights movement and that kind of thing, and they'll occasionally crop up on the radio, or they might be on like a TV as you walk past. So those kind of things are really cool. But I think they treat it really well.
It's interesting because in those open world games, or in video games in general, the idea is to make the player feel happy and want to inhabit this world. Where like all the civilians and all that sort of stuff, you're essentially God, like the player is God. Whereas in this, it sounds like everyone's just horrible and like slagging you off and stuff like that. It reminds me of The Witcher 3 as per usual, where you're going through places and everyone's just like, "Oh, Witcher, no, get out of here, you're an awful person," kind of thing. Like that doesn't happen too often in video games, where they sort of try and detract you from wanting to inhabit these spaces, which I think is a really interesting thing to apply to a video game.
It happens quite prominently in Deus Ex: Mankind Divided as well. You're heavily augmented, and you're in a city in Prague where they hate orgs, and they're trying to make it a natural city again. So it's the same thing. You walk into a bar and they'll be like, "Get out! What are you doing? You're not allowed in here." And just areas like basically every street. It's the whole main open street, and then this tiny little side section. And there's just a sign pointing saying orgs walk down this tiny little dirty side section of the street and everyone else walks down the main part kind of thing. So it's certainly, there's been a couple of games recently where they've put you in the shoes of the oppressed, basically. And been like, you still have to be the hero, but nobody will respect you for it, kind of thing.
I think it's kind of good because, we're getting into some pretty, meta shit here, but, it's kind of like, I feel like, as games as an art form, they should have license to be able to, treat topics like that well. And it really just kind of reflects back on, I guess, how shit our own world is, and I think that's the beauty of those kind of games is, as I've been playing Mafia, there've been moments where things will come up that are quite poignant, and I go, well, shit, this was happening back in the 60s, and it's still happening today.
Definitely.
So I guess it's in some ways it's really cool that they can be, they can be touching and making us think about those kind of things.
In a respectful way as well.
Yeah, absolutely. So it's it's not an awful game. I'll say that it's not terrible. It does have technical glitches and things like that. Yeah. And hopefully a lot of that stuff will be patched out. And it's not awful, but it's the disappointing part about it is that it had a lot of potential that just wasn't met, I suppose. Yeah.
Yeah. Just some of it isn't quite as polished and fleshed out as it could have been.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. All right. Well, that's Mafia 3. Regan, you going to have a review for that one, or just the Let's Plays?
I'm thinking I will do a review as soon as I can get enough time to actually finish the game.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm starting to get through it, so I should have it done. Hopefully soon. So keep an eye on the site, and we'll make sure that we get that on social media and things. So if you're keen on seeing that, definitely check out the old social platforms.
Nice one. We're on Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, all that good stuff.
Yep.
We'll go on to you, Mike, because I haven't actually been playing too much these last 2 weeks. Unfortunately, it's been crunch time in my work, so I've been well swept off my feet. So what have you been playing, man?
Well, I've been playing a couple of space games. I'm trying to remember them all. So I'll start with No Man's Sky because I kind of want to get that off my chest.
Oh, here we go. All right, hang on. Let me get the popcorn.
Yeah. Have you been playing this recently?
I think I was chatting with Abe. It might have been. I stopped playing about a week ago. But because I stopped playing about a month ago as well because I just got absolutely stuck. They sort of stranded me in the solar system. It was sort of a progression issue where you're supposed to get the recipe for antimatter,
so
you can craft the fuel to go to another system. But I never got that recipe, so I was just stuck in this second system.
Yeah.
Just wandering around. So I stopped playing it until they fixed it. Then I noticed that they a couple of weeks ago that they actually brought out a new patch. So I was like, I'll jump back in. See if because it sounded like they did fix some progression issues. So I was like, cool. Jumped back in, played it for a bit, but still stuck. Still no recipe. But I think they even said that they did fix the issue, but because I'd already experienced it, so if I did the same
loop again, it wouldn't happen.
It wouldn't happen.
Yeah.
But it already happened.
You have to start again, kind of thing.
Yeah. Well, I wasn't going to start again because I just wandered around for so long and I had so much money, and I was just like, it wouldn't be worth it. But anyway, I found a trader who was actually selling antimatter, so I could craft the fuel to get it to the next system, and then it sent me to the place to get the recipe.
Oh, yeah.
So I was like, I can actually keep playing it now. So
you managed to bug the game or essentially find a loophole to get around
it
shitty
wasn't really
programming.
A loophole because people sell that stuff anyway. But yeah, it basically sort of reset the that part where you enter a system and then it sends you off to get the recipe for antimatter. So I managed to get some new stuff, keep playing it for a bit more. Started to get a bit sick of it, but then I realised I was actually pretty close to getting the platinum platinum medal. So
Which is always a thing for Mike.
That's just another like carrot on a stick, which is pretty close. So I'll grind it out for another few more hours. So there were a couple of things I had to do for that. I won't go into them too much, but one of them was just the warping like 60 times.
Oh yeah.
So you got to spend ages like collecting resources, and then it takes ages to warp each time you. Anyway, it takes like a minute.
Yeah.
You're just like
an hour of just warping.
It's all bad, man. It's all bad.
Yeah. But so I warped 60 times, got the platinum medal, and deleted the game. Immediately.
I just want to read an excerpt from mine and Mike's Google Hangouts conversation. So he sent me a message that said, "Getting close to No Man's Sky Platinum. Then I think I can leave this game for good." And it said, "Jesus, Mike, it must be only you and Sean Murray playing now, but you won't be able to see each other." He said, "Yeah, I was so close to giving it up a couple of weeks ago when I finally got past my progression issue. Then could actually do stuff, so I kept playing it. Now I need to warp 10 more times to get the platinum. Figured I might as well." And then, it goes on, him talking about warping 60 times, me just face palming, talking about getting the platinum, and I was trying to figure out why. And then we started talking about Alien Isolation. The conversation got a lot more interesting.
Immediately moved on.
The platinum deleted, and he's like, "Deleted what?" But yeah, like so a couple of issues with that game. I warped 60 times, and it took fucking ages. But only made it about 10% of the way towards the center of the galaxy.
Wow.
So I think there were ways you could create shortcuts, and like I had a pretty far upgraded like warp drive or whatever it is. So I was warping a fair way each time, but like there's no way I was gonna like keep playing it, especially after getting platinum.
I don't know what happens when you get to the center of the universe.
This is the next point.
It's so bad.
Can we talk about what happens?
Yeah, I want to know.
Yeah,
I was thinking to myself, I'm going to
It's-
just play the game one day, but
it's not really spoilers because
There's nothing.
it's not a story thing or anything. But
No.
you get to the center and like instead of actually going there and finding something, so you're on the galactic map.
yeah.
And so instead of going to the center and like having a new place to explore, the thing like zooms out, so it starts on the galactic map still. So it's like goes out and like the galaxy takes ages to get like far away. And it's just like a light in the distance, and it goes off the screen, and then like a new light comes in, and it starts zooming in, and then there's like a whole new galaxy comes in, and it's like new galaxy discovered. I can't remember what the second one was called. So like the first one's called the Euclid Galaxy. So and then the second one comes in, and it's just like a different name, galaxy discovered.
So there's no, it just,
And then
Pops you on a planet.
Pops you on a planet, and your ship's wrecked. So you basically start the whole game again in a different galaxy.
People predicted this
But the whole-
months and months and months ago.
But the whole thing is so arbitrary. It's like, why are you giving me like 18 quintillion more planets? It's not like I didn't have enough planets to explore. Like, I'm not bored of, I am bored of these planets.
Not because there's not enough. The issue wasn't that there weren't enough planets.
The only difference is it's a different name, and when you look at the center, it's like a red color instead of like white or whatever.
They changed the hue.
They changed the hue and gave everything a different name. But,
oh my gosh. See, I was holding off on like finding out what happened because I was like, oh, one day I'll do it myself and I'll be like, oh, sweet.
Don't, please.
Oh, wow.
But and then I was kind of like, well, what happens now if you get to the second center? And so I was like, all right, I'll watch a video, and like, watching another guy stream it, and he'd spent like 10 hours streaming himself or whatever to get to the center of the second galaxy. And then he goes in there, and I'm like fully expecting the game to crash because I'm like, there's no way they've got this far ahead. Like, nobody, you can't expect somebody to get this far. But the same thing happened. It zoomed out, camera moved around, and like went into a different galaxy, and he gets popped on a new planet.
No one had a blue.
And it had a different,
Different hue.
different hue, different name for the galaxy. I'm just like, what? Oh my god! Like, what's going on? And then so I was like, okay, well, how many are there? And I found some wiki, and apparently, like, there's like 5 named galaxies, and you know how all the planets have like procedurally based names, like random. So after the first 5, they turn into procedural names.
Oh wow! Yeah. So you can just theoretically just keep going.
Yeah. So the wiki thing I read had like the first 9 or 10 names, but there was a video I watched. I'm not sure if he was telling the truth or not because there's no way anybody's ever going to know. But he said he got to the center of the 50th universe.
50th.
Yeah.
50th.
Which. Yeah. So I'm a bit skeptical, but he was like, Hello Games called me up because this is the guy that got
he got here we go.
Center of the 10th, and apparently he said like Hello Games called him up and said like you got to stop going. You can't keep going like this.
You're going to break your game because I suppose as soon as someone gets
there's
that
got to be
far,
something. They're got to be hiding something. But
no, well, as soon as someone gets that far, they then theoretically have to generate that all on their servers and things, right? To be able, so they
someone else gets that far.
Well, I mean, it's procedural, so I assume that it's like it's just, it's not like they have all these planets saved physically somewhere.
Yeah.
But it's just like
and all the data wipes after 2 weeks, right?
No, it doesn't. It doesn't.
Oh, doesn't it?
I looked at my discoveries from the first planet, which was months ago when it came out, and everything was still there. So
okay. All right. I just heard that at some point, and I assumed it was something because
the David Cage system will still exist. Yeah.
But,
everything called David Cage.
Yeah. So I was like, this is so weird. But I was learning more about it. Watched some more YouTube videos and stuff. But so much shit. So like, I'm going to say a couple of things that Sean Murray said about the game when he's advertising it. So, completely open universe. You can go wherever you want. You see a star in the distance, that's because there's another star there. You can travel there without your warp drive, but it's going to take ages.
But that's not the case, is it?
I'll get to that. I've already talked to Balthazar about this, but so the planets, they're all rotating around the sun. Each planet rotates on its axis. If you've got a moon, it's going to go around the planet.
Yeah.
What else? Was that about it?
He said something about different elements on planets causing different light refractions in the sky.
Right.
Oh, yeah, like each planet having an atmosphere.
Yeah, exactly.
Maybe. Yeah. Sort of, but yeah. And so, each planet's sort of got its own natural day and night cycle that. But yeah, how many of those things do you think were actually true?
0.
None of them.
Abe?
I'll say 1.
1. Yeah, Regan's right here. None of them.
None of them.
Which one would you say is true, Abe?
I thought any star you saw you could go there, it'd just take ages. I thought that was actually true.
Nope. So this is one thing that I wanted to know. It was like, can you actually fly into the sun? So I got my warp drive and I pointed towards the sun. I went for about 5 or 10 minutes and then things started to get a bit weird, and I was like, the sun's not getting any closer or any bigger. It could be that it's just really far away, and that it's actually massive, because of course it would be. But yeah, turned back and there was something weird with the planets, like they were just flashing in and out of existence. So I was like, whatever. Keep going. But there's a YouTube video of a guy who, I think he spent 6 hours maybe trying to go in towards the center of the sun, and things got weird.
Really?
So basically, I think there is a technical reason for it. But basically, you're not in an open universe. Each solar system is its own, basically level.
Yeah.
So the planets are popped there, and then the sun's not actually there. It's just like it's a skybox.
Yeah.
So
right.
So you got the level, and then you've got just what's basically a background, which is just a picture which is static almost.
Yeah.
So no matter how long you take flying towards even the closest star, you'll never actually get there.
Yeah.
I think the planets will get further away, but because he got so far out of where he's supposed to be, the game started getting real glitchy. So the dashboard from his spaceship just disappeared. So he's missing the front of his spaceship.
Just a man flying through space.
And then ships would spawn and they're all zigzagging like crazy. And then somehow he ended up walking in space beneath the space station, out of a spaceship, but he's just in space. Yeah, just Not where he's supposed to be. Real messed up.
I guess it just continues to add to the absolute farce that was No Man's Sky, really, wasn't it? Didn't it?
Then getting to the planets, so they don't actually. Yeah, of course they're not moving around the sun
because there is no sun.
Yeah, but they don't even rotate. They sit there.
It's all static.
They're all static. Yeah, so they're all sitting in the same spot. They don't rotate. The illusion is when you're on a planet, the sun moves around the outside of the skybox.
Oh, yeah.
And that creates the day and night cycle.
Yeah. So there is at least a day and night cycle, but they're not rotating around the sun.
Yeah, but it's not as true as he said it was. They're not rotating on their own axis.
Yeah. Wow.
And then, so you'll sit on a planet and, there's a moon there, but it will always be in the same place. It's not, if you sit there for hours and hours,
it's not going to move.
Yeah. Sean Murray, man, how not to hype a game.
Yeah, so...
that sort of defeats my next point that I was going to ask you was the fact... I was going to ask you guys if you believe that they had malicious intention from the start.
I don't think so. I think Sean Murray just had no idea what he was doing.
Yeah.
But then, I don't think he ever played No Man's Sky.
He's like, here's his game, here's what it looks like, go.
They almost to the extent they didn't tell him what No Man's Sky was. They were just like, we're making a sci-fi game, sell it.
Yeah.
Sell it to the media, and he was like, all right, and he's just done his research on what people want, and so he just said it was that.
Yeah, I mean, it could have absolutely been his intention the whole time to, like, sell the game as he described it, but, just couldn't do it that way due to technical limitations or whatever. But
Yeah. It sounds like he got pushed into the PR role because he's a developer. And Hello Games obviously is a small studio and they didn't have a PR person because they'd never done anything like this before. Sean Murray got pushed into the PR role and it sounds like he just got a bit too Peter Molyneux on it.
I think he probably dived in too deep too early and then didn't know how to kind of backtrack because he had already made promises. So when people were like, he'd sat down in a conference and said, here are all these awesome things going to be, and then you can't really down the track backpedal on that and go, actually, all you're going to be able to do is fly from planet to planet. All of that sort of stuff, nah. Because that in itself is going to kill the game right from the get-go. So I guess he was hoping that he could pull the wool, maybe make some money, and then that people wouldn't ask for their money back? Or
I guess the question is, at what point did he realise it was all shit, and from that point onwards, did he continue to make up more lies, or did he just not, refute his previous ones? Because they're completely different crimes. Did he just not correct himself earlier, or was there a point where he knew it was all shit but then continued to make up more things that would not be in the game? Because that's a much worse crime than just not saying, sorry guys, I've made a mistake, the game's not going to be as big as I led you to believe. Or if they knew what it was going to be and then he still went out and was like, will you see your friends? Yes.
There's also the fact that their office were flooded December last year, I believe. And that could have had some sort of toll. Maybe they were planning this big, grandiose, ambitious game, and they had it, quite well done, or at least somewhat an alpha or something like that. And then this flood just buggered it all up, kind of thing, and they had to try and scramble, for whatever they could.
Maybe.
Well, I kind of get the feeling that they had a lot more development period after that flood than before.
Yeah.
That was in 2014, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was a long time ago. Maybe, probably it wasn't last December. A couple of Decembers ago, yeah. Well, when Sony started taking an interest, I think they were probably given, a lot more time. But at the same time, a release window or, deadlines, obviously, because they're working with Sony. So I don't know. We can speculate till the cows come home, but
I'm looking forward to the first bit of talk from them. Once we hear from the company, what is it going to be like? Here's our next game we're making.
It's interesting though. It certainly drove sales. Not necessarily No Man's Sky sales when everyone realised it was shit. I know I'm not the only person who, when they saw how shit No Man's Sky was, bought Elite Dangerous. Because we wanted a game close to what No Man's Sky said it was. It drove sales of open world sci-fi games, because when it came out and wasn't what people wanted, people looked for what they wanted and found it elsewhere. So it drove sales in general everywhere across the board, really.
Crazy.
Oh well, we haven't talked about No Man's Sky for a while.
Yeah,
so that's,
I feel like I can at least leave it behind now. So in my rant.
Good work, man. Good work.
You've had closure. We can send it off for its space burial or whatever you're giving it. I'm looking at it now. It's just sitting on my shelf covered in dust.
I uninstalled it and deleted it off my PC like the other week, so there's nothing. There's no evidence.
Traces.
I've only got the trophies as evidence. After that, you said I was playing Alien Isolation.
Yep.
Fucking awesome game. Oh my god. Like, just absolutely love that game. Just amazing everything. Like the space station you're on, Sevastopol, so well done. Like they could have made it really sort of like basic and really generic, where you're on a space station, everything is probably going to feel the same.
It's not rotating; it's just a skybot.
But it's got so many different parts, and they all feel different. Like you're in the medical facility, and there's you can just tell there's all the beds and all the medical equipment everywhere, and then you go somewhere else and this is sort of like the transport station, and it's got the whole conveyor belts for your baggage and everything like that. Just an amazing and scary as well. Like that's the thing I like about the game. Very scary, terrifying with the alien coming after you, but that's not the only thing you're contending with. Like you've got the androids and like other survivors, and then the space station itself just falling apart. Like you walk into a room and it'll just explode, and you're just like, Jesus Christ! So incredible. Have you played? You guys all played it through?
I've only played it on the live stream that we did, the launch live stream.
I finished it. Finished it. Yeah, I'd say the alien for me wasn't the scariest part. The scariest part was those fucking those Joes walking around.
Joes,
There's just this one point for me where I came out of a vent. I checked that it was clear beforehand. There was nothing there. I come out, I turn around to close the vent door again, turn back around, he's right there in my face going, "May I help you?" And it just kills me, and I'm like, oh God.
Yeah. Because, there was kind of like mass-produced androids, and you kind of think there might be a bit more of a generic enemy, but they can be quite hard to kill.
Yeah.
Because like a lot of the time you swing the wrench at them and they'll just like catch it and then start choking you.
Wow.
And so, that can be a bit rough, but what was I going to say? Alien as well, you can hear it like in the vents wherever you go.
It just sounds like, I mean, I can appreciate that the world looks good and things, but it sounds so scary. Like, what?
You gotta like that kind of thing, like just being on edge and real amazing. One thing with the Alien is just a really good AI, I think, because it doesn't follow a path or anything. There's a couple of times where it will jump out at you and that sort of thing, but mostly it's just doing its own thing.
Oh yeah.
So you got to be quite quiet. If you try to sprint anywhere, it'll just like jump out and then just like fucking.
Did you play it with the microphone on and stuff?
Yeah, I was gonna ask that. Yeah,
that made it so much scarier.
My computer chair is really squeaky, so like you just sit back a little bit and go.
I did the full experience. I did the microphone on, and I did the what's the other thing you can do?
The motion capture.
Yeah, the motion, so that if you like move. Like if you're hiding in a locker, and then you like basically so that it can hear the objective tracker as well. So of course you've got to bring up your objective tracker, and it's like a map, and it like has a blip on it with where the thing is, and you can turn the settings so that the alien can like hear. Because when you pick it up and like turn it on, it's like click clack, like makes a whirring sound and stuff. You can set all this shit so the alien hears and sees everything. And it's got like you said, it's adaptive AI. So if it adapts between deaths. So, for example, let's say you run, it's chasing you, you hide under a desk, and it sees you, it kills you, it remembers that it caught you and killed you under a desk. So if you run and hide back under that same desk later, even if it didn't see you, it will walk up and check under that desk because it knows that's your go-to hiding spot. It's a hard game. Yeah. It's terrifying.
One thing that I noticed is later on in the game you get the flamethrower, and it's because it's afraid of fire, and so just blast it to keep it away from me. But there was a point where like I see it starts coming towards me, and I just pull out the flamethrower, and it just like immediately slows down. It just immediately sort of stops because like it knows
it knows that you're
like, it knows what this is.
That's really cool. Yeah,
so amazing.
Sega's returned to form on that one. Although they were the publisher, not the dev, but still, it's got their name attached to it, and it's not complete arse.
Yeah.
So,
but had a lot of fun with it, especially messing around with the other survivors. So one of the things you do is you can craft a noisemaker, which is like a little device. Just you throw it. It's sort of like a grenade, but it just makes a like buzzing, like kind of annoying noise. So you get some like survivors that are trying to hide, or they're like camping out in a spot with all their guns, and you got to get through them. So you just like throw the noisemaker into the middle of them, and then the fucking alien hears it and like jumps out of a vent and runs around and kills them all. But I did a bit of a more of a dick move, which was had to kind of laugh. Where if I get through this like locked door, and there's this guy in a room like all off to the corner like hiding, and he's sort of like crying. Because he's so afraid and just like all the shit going on by himself in this room hiding, and there's like a locker next to him, and I just seen on one of the loading screens that you can smack a wall with a wrench to create a distraction or to create noise.
Yeah.
So it's like, okay, like smacked the wall next to him, and then went and ran hid in the locker next. And then like a few seconds later, the alien comes into the room and is like, just mauls the guy. And I'm just sitting in the locker watching this all. And then the alien runs off, and I'm just like,
I couldn't do things like that. Like that's the sort of thing I always do in like RPGs and stuff like that. I just ruin the lives of people that I come across. But I couldn't do it in that game because I would be sitting there going, and then realise that, oh shit, it just heard me laughing in the locker, and then it would open the locker and rip me up. So I was like, no, I've just got it. I can't do anything.
Alien's
fun.
perspective on that would just be like,
just, turn around and go, what was that?
Your hubris gets the better of you, and then that's your downfall.
Yeah, definitely should have played it with the microphone, I think.
Very cool, man. Is that all everything you've been playing?
Oh, just XCOM I played after that. Not XCOM 2, but I saw XCOM Enemy Unknown for $20, so I picked that up.
Nice.
Yeah, real fun. You guys played those games?
No.
I played the original XCOM, like the original
PC
XCOM.
one.
Yeah, super hard. Pretty cool game though back in the day.
Yeah. Really enjoyed that, like the tactical thing to it. Did manage to finish it, and didn't find it too difficult. Like I killed the main bad guy like in the same turn that he appeared. Like I killed him in 2 shots. So I was like a little bit
Underwhelmed kind of thing.
Underwhelmed by that, but definitely has replayable value, and so I can probably put the difficulty up for the next one, and make sure that I can't load previous saves, so any screw ups you make are permanent. It was a really cool game. And now I'm just playing Tomb Raider. So
Awesome.
The Tomb Raider, Rise of the Tomb Raider.
Yeah, Rise of the Tomb Raider.
Oh, nice. I'm looking to pick that up when they stop trying to sell it to me as if it's a new game.
True.
Did you see that actually, Abe? I don't know if you saw this and would be as outraged as I was. That they're trying to sell Metal Gear Solid 5 as a new game again, as if JB Hi-Fi still selling it for $130 or whatever wasn't bad enough. Now they're selling Metal Gear Solid 5, the definitive edition. And I had to look that up. I was like, hold up, I'm pretty sure this game had no DLC or anything.
Yeah.
What is different between this and what I already have? They're just packaging Ground Zeroes and Phantom Pain together.
Yeah.
And saying it's a new game.
You missed out one element there, which they're also advertising as being a new Metal Gear Online. Like, comes with Metal Gear Online. Oh, really?
Oh, that thing that was already always with
Metal
Gear Solid.
Wasn't that
the
like
multiplayer component?
Yeah.
No.
You just download that for free?
I'm not sure. I know you could with the one on PS3. I'm not sure about the PS4 one. I think that one may.
Pretty sure PS4 you just download that. It was like a free
Yeah.
upgrade. But it wasn't Ground Zeroes, so that was really cheap anyway. But wasn't that on PS Plus as well? Like, so we
it was.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Don't
It's
believe the
Konami,
hype,
man.
people. Don't believe the hype.
I just thought it was ridiculous that they're saying this
Konami.
is the definitive edition of the game, and I'm like, you mean it's just the 2 games combined into one game? Like what? With nothing new?
It's Konami, man. You know what they're gonna do? They'll stitch a cat and a dog together and sell it to you, like whatever they can do, kind of thing, and like
sell it to you as Football Manager 18.
Yeah, Pez. All right, we'll move on to a wee bit of news. We'll probably race through the news because there's not too much. The big news is PlayStation VR is out in the wild.
Sure is, yeah. People have seemed relatively happy with it.
Yeah, I mean, the reaction has been mostly positive.
There were multiple sets at work over this last week. I don't know if you guys noticed it all, but everyone was getting them delivered to work, and they were all upstairs. I kept walking past and being like, "Oh look, more VR headsets. I should just take one." I was actually talking to someone at work, and I was like, how's your moral compass? What's your conscience like? And he's like, what are you getting at today? What's your deal this time? And I was like, wow. There's a lot of PSVR headsets upstairs. It'd be a shame if one or two of them.
Two of them, Balthazar.
Yeah. The only thing is, like for me, is that the unless I bought the bundle, which is relatively expensive, it would be difficult. Like it would be a huge financial outlay for me to get one of those.
It'll be close to $1,000.
Yeah, which is an obscene amount of money. I mean, I like to think that maybe. Well, no, it's not going to come down in price anytime soon. No. But that would be the biggest hurdle for me. It's just the cost of the damn thing.
Yeah, like do any of you guys own PlayStation Eye cameras or Move controllers already?
Nope.
I have Move controllers. They came bundled with Hannah's PS4.
Oh yeah.
So
no camera though.
No camera.
Did it come? Did she buy one with one of those bundled PlayStation party games or something?
I don't. I remember the game that came with the Move controllers was Book of Sorcery.
Oh no!
It's never been even put in. The disc has never been put in.
Are you referring to Wonderbook?
Yes. Yeah.
Oh man.
I think so yeah.
Oh god, no, that was horrific. I remember seeing that at one of the E3s, and there's this 40 middle-aged woman sitting down turning pages of this giant spell book with a Move controller. I was like, hang on, who is this appealing to?
That middle-aged lady was, and on a side note, she was J.R. Tolkien. There you go. J.K. Rowling, the other one, J.K. Rowling.
Oh, was it the Harry Potter one?
It might have been. I don't know.
I don't think it was Harry Potter, but it was like riding on the hype of that. It was called Wonderbook, and it was like the equivalent of reading an ebook, but physically, but not. It just looked terrible. Why that was a good idea, I'll never know.
Amazing.
It's one of the things that always shows up in the E3 cringe highlight reels. So it can't be good from there. But I mean, so you guys obviously, Balthazar, Hannah's going to get one when you guys get back.
Yeah.
And Regan, you'll get one at some point, but you're not sure when.
Maybe. I don't know. I mean, there needs to be I think the last time we talked about this, we talked about there needs to be that game.
Yeah,
and I don't think they have that game yet. If we get a big title that comes out on it, that means that I'm like, fuck, I need to play that game, and to play that game I need to have the PSVR stuff. Then maybe.
How would you feel about Grand Theft Auto 5 with VR?
That'd be amazing, but I'm pretty sure they'd have to downgrade the graphics pretty significantly.
Yeah,
so it's am I getting should I just buy it on PC and play it at max specs and have it be epic on just a monitor? Is it I would have to make that call. I don't know. It'd be fun, but I wouldn't. It'd take a bit of convincing, I think.
Yeah. Mike, what are your thoughts on this?
I'm keeping my eye on it. I'm kind of wary of getting any sort of brand new hardware specs. Ever since I bought a second-hand PS2, because that was it turns out it was probably the original PS2.
Oh yeah, the big fat one.
Yeah.
And just that it didn't have the full. The only thing that really annoyed me about it is I was back in the day, so long ago. It was the first thing I had that could play DVDs.
Oh yeah, yeah.
So I got a DVD remote for it, but it didn't have the
sensor on it.
The sensor, yeah.
Oh,
it was such an early model. I was just like,
yeah. So you reckon maybe holding off until we get some more?
Yeah,
models?
I mean small things like that, but that's one of the reasons anyway. But also saving up for a trip at the moment. So I think early next year I'll look at the PS Pro and getting some VR stuff as well. But by that time, there'll be more stuff out.
We'll see.
Things. But I'm liking what I've seen so far. There do seem to be quite a few just with the new tech. There's a lot of quite what I feel innovative games coming out that use it. So
it's spawning a whole new wave of reaction videos online as well. The reaction videos are back in force kind of thing, and it's actually quite interesting because because it's so new and quirky and novel. Old people are getting into it, young people are getting into it, so it's kind of interesting seeing everyone's kind of reactions, whether they're gamers or not.
Yeah. I would love to see my granddad play something like that. It would just be the best.
Tiger Woods, Rory McIlroy golf on VR. I'll be all about that, man. That'd be great. That'd be really good.
Well, at the moment, with the PSVR anyway, it doesn't sound like they've got the whole walking around bit quite down. Because the better looking ones is where you're sitting in a mech or something and finding some other robots.
Yeah.
But the one I saw it was for the Rise of the Tomb Raider, where you
explore the mansion kind of thing.
Yeah, explore the mansion, and it's you can teleport over here and then use you can look around and stuff. But if you want to look very far around, you need to actually use the controller to sort of jump, sort of a rotate your character a bit more.
Yeah.
You teleport over here, but you can't actually just walk.
It's quite clunky. Yeah. Interesting.
At the moment, the one thing that is sort of incentivizing me is Batman Arkham VR, which is apparently really good, excellent. Some people say, and just the idea of being Batman, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, I think that is a lot of people, like you said, are sort of really excited about that one. But when I look at it, my question has always been, what's the gameplay? Whenever I've seen it, it just looks like a video. I can't tell. Have they shown any gameplay and it's seamless and we can't tell it's gameplay, or have they only shown cutscenes?
From what I can tell, because I haven't actually looked at any of the video footage because I don't want spoilers and stuff like that. But from what I've heard people talk about, it's the in Arkham Knight and Arkham City where you're going through and doing those sort of what are they, hologram kind of crime solving where you're rewinding time. It's all that sort of stuff.
That's cool. I like that stuff.
Yeah. Yeah. So there's a major death at the start of a Batman VR or whatever, and you're going through and trying to figure it out kind of thing, using that sort of technology, which I think sounds pretty cool to me.
I'd rather get a Bruce Wayne VR game personally.
What, just walk around being
walk around as a billionaire playboy. That's on a unintended segue there. Have either of you guys played the Telltale Batman games at all? Yeah.
No, I haven't. No,
I haven't either. But I just heard something that kind of enticed me into it recently. Is that apparently you can choose for every situation whether you want to resolve it as Batman or Bruce Wayne.
That's quite cool.
I would totally do the whole game as Bruce Wayne. Just be like, no, this is Bruce Wayne, the Telltale series, not Batman. It'd be really interesting to see how he deals with all the villains as Bruce Wayne rather than Batman.
Yeah. Interesting.
Oh, very good. Well, there's only one other piece of news that I've got here, and it's probably not going to excite very many people, if anyone, and that's that the new Assassin's Creed, plans for a new Assassin's Creed have been leaked. Now, this is called Assassin's Creed Empire, and it's set in Egypt, apparently. This one.
They couldn't do it, could they? They said there was going to be no Assassin's Creed announcements this year.
Well, they haven't announced it, have they?
Doesn't matter, got out. Doesn't matter, got out. They couldn't do it.
The thing that's different about this is apparently, this is PR speak. After it got leaked, they had to make it announcement. They said they're redoing it from the ground up. And they're redoing it. The direct comparison made was to Red Dead Redemption. So they're building an open world where you go around. And
how are they going to do their Ubisoft towers in Egypt?
I don't know.
He can't do his eagle dive off the pyramid
because it'd be the eagle slide,
penguin slide. Well, honestly, maybe off a sand dune.
They compared it to Red Dead. I wonder what they mean by that.
They were just saying it's going to be a dynamic open world, and obviously pretty much every single one of those words is crappy PR speak.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, that's what they've said. They're redoing it from the ground up.
Probably because it's in the desert.
What's another game that's in the desert? That one with the guns.
Game.
Yeah.
Awesome.
But I mean, if they can we can't ignore the fact that, well, I believe anyway, Assassin's Creed 2 and to some extent Brotherhood was a pretty damn good game. I really liked Assassin's Creed 2 a lot, with Da Vinci and the flying machines and all that sort of quite interesting stuff. Every other iteration, apart from somewhat Black Flag, has been bollocks.
Yeah.
So
the comparison is probably just that the ancestor you're playing as this time is called Don Naston or something.
You might need to like Egypt that up a wee bit, like Arabic that up. But
it'll have accents and shit.
outrageously racist French Canadian and like Arabian mix of like French Canadian and Arab. But that's the only other thing, and I knew it wouldn't be that exciting, but I had to share it because it happened.
I'm excited. Yep.
Regan's excited. Everyone knows Regan's.
It's been a whole year without towers. It's been tough.
He needs that Ubisoft fix.
Yeah.
And God knows he's not getting it at the moment. So
we did find out last pod that they are his favourite developer. So.
Unequivocally, Regan Harper's favourite developer. Ubisoft, ubiquitous software. Anyway,
we shall see what happens there.
Is that what they're short for?
Yeah, that's what it's short for. And that's pretty correct. They churn out about 8 million games a year, so it's all good. It's all good. All right. Well, last bit of the podcast here. And as per usual, we've been doing a top 10. And Mike, we might get you in on this in the coming weeks as well if you want to share some games that may have meant a lot to you. Should have framed your way of being, so to speak.
Yeah, definitely.
But it's my turn this week, so I think I'll delve into a pretty obvious one, The Last of Us.
Oh yeah.
So had to be The Last of Us. I was thinking about which one to do, and I was like, no, we'll go with The Last of Us. So The Last of Us is Naughty Dog property. And Naughty Dog, I didn't always know they were my favourite developer. That only happened when The Last of Us came out. And my beginnings with Naughty Dog, as most people, started Crash Bandicoot 1, 2, Warped, and then moved on to the Jak and Daxter series, which was essentially just Crash Bandicoot, but way better. And I knew I loved these developers and everything they did I enjoyed. And then The Last of Us came out, and that was like, well, obviously Uncharted and stuff, but that was still pretty similar to the sort of bombasticity and bombasticity, I should say, and the sort of camp of Jak and Daxter and Crash. But then The Last of Us came out, and that was like a complete heel turn. This was like the grimmest game I'd probably ever played at that point, and maybe to this day. I'd have to think about it, but this was some real shit, like, for lack of a better phrase.
Some real shit.
This was some real shit, man. Like, when you open a game, we're doing spoilers on these things, right? Because you have to. When you open a game with the main character's 12-year-old daughter, or being shot and killed in the first 15 minutes of the game, and the music swells and everyone's crying, then you know that you're in for one hell of a ride, eh? Like, that's before the opening bloody credits of the game that shit happens, and then you jump in and it's 20 years later, and then it turns into sort of a Half-Life 2-esque City 17, where you're just walking past and seeing people being executed and seeing what's become of this Children of Men-like world, and sort of how the virus and things have taken hold and created, almost like racist type things in the world, making people, the infected are treated essentially like, lower class citizens, or the people who have just been infected, the other infected, are treated like, monsters, as they are. But when you get into the combat in this game, holy shit, guys! Like, even unarmed, when you choke someone out in this game, you feel bad when you do that. You see the life drain from this guy's eyes, and you see, like, depending if you've got into a scuffle with him before, you see like blood drip down and sort of like fork lightning type shapes down his face while you're like choking him out, and he's struggling and he's flailing his arms around and stuff, and you can hear him choking on his own blood. And holy hell, like this is some rough shit. And when you eventually get a gun and you shoot someone, one bullet is like pretty much all you really need. Yeah. 1 or 2 bullets and they're down. Like, as you mentioned, with Red Dead Redemption last time, Regan, like, the bullet impact in this game is phenomenal. Like, you feel every bullet, and
that's kind of cool, I think, because it sort of plays into I guess that sort of scarceness of all the resources and things as well. You know, you want to make sure that those bullets feel real because you've got like 2 of them, and you've got to like get through this series of awful situations with just a couple. You know, I think that's all of those kind of little considerations, I think, is what made that game awesome.
Yeah, like this shit is made by the people who made Crash and Jak and Daxter. Like you go into this expecting something like that, and you're presented with one of the most cruel, unforgiving worlds you've ever seen in a video game. You know, that has a serious impact on you, kind of thing. And you know, I feel that the story, every element of this game is just so polished and so well told. And it's got that sort of environmental storytelling as well as having a solid plot and a solid narrative. It's got, you know, you just look around and you can tell what's gone on here. Like you can tell the past of this place. And I think that's just something incredibly special that I hadn't encountered in a video game to that extent before I played The Last of Us.
I think we can all agree it was a pretty top-notch game.
Yeah, absolutely.
Alrighty, well, that probably just about wraps us up for another 2 weeks, I would say. Anyone else got anything else they want to jam in here before we close off?
No, I think we're good.
Good
luck to Balthazar on his travels.
Yeah,
absolutely. I'm hoping for some Japanese style updates.
Yeah, don't eat any awful airplane food.
I like airplane food.
Watch your back in Shijuku Junction.
Yeah, make sure those are cooked through properly.
Yeah.
Come bring us back every single Yakuza game, please.
Yeah,
so you can play all those.
I'll try to become an honorary member while I'm over there. I'll seek them out.
Green tea flavoured Kit Kats.
Yeah.
Those games do look pretty good, by the way.
Kit
I want to play
flavoured condoms. Out of vending machines.
That can't be a thing.
They are. They're called Kit Sacks.
That's amazing. Wow.
Amazing.
What a magical place.
Yeah.
But yeah, anyway, Balthazar will be back in 2 podcasts' time, but he will have Mr. Michael Langdon taking his place in the meantime. So, in the next 2 weeks, take care of yourselves out there, and we'll see you again in a fortnight. Cheers, guys.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.